From professional players getting banned because of teabagging, to a whole roster losing their job because of a social media post. All this and more in this first episode of Valorant Esports Iceberg series. Today I'll be going through the first tier of a fairly large Valorant Esports Iceberg, created by Twitter user Bodork. And if you enjoyed the video and would like to see me cover the rest of the iceberg, make sure to subscribe. In the final round of the third map between Exit and FPX, this Killjoy turret completely bugged by shooting at Heaven, even though the two remaining FPX players were in 3. This gave the wrong information to Def, who kept watching Heaven, which resulted in Exit losing the round and the game.
Show's found him! Oh, they just got second! And now it's only Def!
And that was it. The Exit players accepted their defeat, and the FPX players celebrated their win. But an hour later, Riot made the announcement that the round will be replayed.
A bug caused the Killjoy turret to fire in the wrong direction. This resulted in a false information that directly led to an Exit player looking the wrong direction and hide a high level of potential impact on Exit losing the round and the match. The final round will therefore be replayed.
Both teams got back to the stage and went straight to round 24, where this happened.
That looks like really a piss off Ardiis because he's the one on the back of the site though. Hasn't done what he wanted, only attacking, not the frag and Exit. Oh god, they've got him down to 3. They
read the tweet.
They've absolutely been on Twitter. They've been getting strats straight off TweetDeck and now we're down to 2. So get to an Angel to try and play this one back in.
Some of the retakers too. Aaron's tagged up as well.
Yeah. 5 HP for him. Angel's been caught. And hope you're getting comfortable, folks. We'll be obviously going back to the desk after this. Don't worry. They'll break down everything we've just seen. And Exit, well, it's 12-12, folks.
Before getting to overtime, the game was struck with another 5-minute tech pause. And at this point, it was past 2 AM local time for these players, so none of them seemed too happy to be there. After a long and grueling overtime, with exceptional plays from both teams, FPX managed to close out the game. Again.
Send him home for the second time!
And thank God they closed that out.
After the game, the Exit players confirmed that they had nothing to do with the round being replayed, and that it was entirely Riot's decision, but that didn't stop the players from receiving hate from the fans, and salty comments from the FPX players. In the post-game press conference, this is what Ardiis had to say.
If I gave my honest opinion, I would firstly get fined by FPX, I'll get fined by Riot, then my career would most likely be cancelled, so no comment.
Despite having a franchise spot and top-tier talent, Carmine Corp is quite possibly the most confusing team in the history of competitive Valorant. It sometimes looks like they are genuinely playing the game for the first time.
And a second from CNET, 2v2, 4 seconds! No one's placing this down! Oh no! Please plant the spike, you have to for money. Please, I don't care about saving, try to plant the spike. Or you are capped at 1,000 credits.
And they take the choice of saving the guns, don't go for the spike plant, could have been punished.
Learning moment though, because I've seen KC do this.
Eventually, analyst and caster Sideshow would start hosting watch parties dedicated to K-Corp, and every single week thousands of people would tune in to experience the madness together.
A pivot B here would be so good, Carmine Corp.
Oh my god.
Run B, motherfuckers! The guy that flanked you from middle B is dead. You had 35 seconds to rotate. You know that there's going to be an A stack. Where are you going? There's 15 seconds! Where are you going? You can't go B now! You wasted 20 seconds! What are they doing? What are they doing?
Left it
what
way
are you doing?
Who better not die? Well, decide to come back through on CT, but
time?
They need to get a move on still.
Time!
They need to go okay.
Time!
The shot, but I was getting dangerously close to running out of time.
Time!
What? There's no time on the defuse, Lauren.
You fucking melons! My eyes! My eyes! Rip them out!
On November 19, 2022, after their victory versus Cloud9 White, Shopify Rebellion Game Changers coach Robwiz displayed a cheeky way of saying good game by raising his middle finger towards the Cloud9 white players and coach. Riot responded by suspending Robwiz for the next match in the Valorant Game Changer Championship, which was the final of the tournament, and also fined and warned Rob that any subsequent violations of this policy will result in increased penalties. The Valorant community rightfully so didn't agree with the harsh punishment, saying should be only a warning, since both teams were trash talking throughout, not a fair consequence. And esports will never be taken seriously, man. What is this shit? Riot were also called out for their inconsistent decision making. If that's the case, then Fnatic are playing 3v5 next official, with Derke and Boaster on the sidelines.
That's just how it is. Even he's like, right, well, yeah, I wasn't expecting him to do that, to be fair, but yeah, it certainly sends a message. Oh god.
This is what Robwiz himself had to say about the situation.
Well, we won, obviously. There's so much history there, and there was shit talk during the match. It's been a whole year of losing to them and getting shit talked. You know, it was a rough loss, it was a rough map, and Mel said to us as she was walking off, she was like, say hi to Landon for us.
Yo, say hi to Landon for me!
I did like the quickest middle finger. The staff and the players could tell you that like I actually felt bad about it like immediately after, because I'm not like about the shit talking stuff.
Back in 2022, Riot Games suspended 2 competitive Valorant players after a public disagreement about teabagging. Dawn Park and Vivian Rizora de la Cruz were banned from official Riot competitions for 3 and 9 months. According to Riot, Park made a vulgar and targeted comment towards another player, while De La Cruz systematically targeted and isolated another player. Riot specified that the players were being punished for actions against another member of Galorants, a community for female and non-binary Valorant players. On June 24th, a member named Ripley Lawless said in the Galorant server, in games, people think it's okay to teabag, and that is funny when really it's sexual assault. And it's safe to say that she didn't get the response that she was looking for.
If teabagging is sexual assault, I'm a repeated sex offender.
I mean, it is sexual assault. If I do not consent and someone rubs their genitals in my face, that's sexual assault. I wouldn't be proud of being a repeat offender.
I am deeply sorry my reflexes made me resort to my in-game character crouching on another in-game character's dead body, because I shit on them very hard and I would like to rub my gigantic chamber balls in their face. I'll try very hard not to do it again.
The statement was widely mocked across social media, with even big streamers like Moist Critical weighing in on the topic. In a tweet-longer post, De La Cruz said that she would take responsibility for her actions, although she would never remove her videos that were critical of Galorants. Park's post was more critical of Riot's decision. She said that she had friends who had been sexually assaulted, and it is not something you can compare to crouching in a video game. You know, I always knew that there's a reason for my 0.5 KD. Is it because I'm bad? No, it's just because I'm not a killer, unlike the enemy Reyna who just commits mass genocide every game. During VCT 2022, in a game between Optic and Boom Esports, Crashies got one of the funniest and most memorable aces in VCT history.
Over the ropes, how many players are going across? Pure silence. No!
No way!
No!
No way!
Not like this!
No way!
I don't think we will ever witness anything like that
Last round in the half.
ever again in VCT history.
In the final match of VCT America's first regular season, 100 Thieves faced off against MIBR to determine whether they or Evil Geniuses would secure the final playoff spot. Coming into the week with a 2-6 record, MIBR were already locked in 9th seed and eliminated from playoffs, so they were essentially playing for nothing. Going into the third map, momentum looked to be firmly on the side of 100 Thieves, but MIBR refused to roll over and end their season peacefully. Going into round 20 with a 12-7 deficit, 100 Thieves needed everything to go in their favor.
Last first one!
Toxzin, play last, play last. Don't let them know you're here.
Perfect. Playing perfect.
Your turn, Toxzin.
Wait, they don't know, they don't know.
Shoot the fucking guy! It's Tom! Yes!
This massive upset meant that EG managed to get a playoff spot instead of 100 Thieves based on the map differential. This is an incredibly special story, because EG then managed to get 3rd place at playoffs, which got them a spot at Masters Tokyo, where even though they came in 2nd, losing in the final to Fnatic, it still gave them a spot at Champions, which they won in a dominant fashion. And all of this happened because MIBR upset 100 Thieves in a match that didn't mean anything to them, making this the most magical and unlikely run in competitive Valorant's history. Thanks to questionable plays, combined with hilarious caster reactions, the final round of the 3rd map between Leviathan and Exit at VCT 2022 Masters Copenhagen produced one of the funniest and most bizarre rounds in competitive Valorant's history.
Not too great for
Mel's got the spike!
He's all the way in heaven, he's dropped it!
That's the spike!
The overheat moment! The positioning! What a blunder! What a whiff! It's match point for the Tbag! You've got to be kidding me!
He does the 4 damage!
This is absolutely absurd!
I've never seen anything like that.
What am I witnessing? What am I watching? 3 players left alive, the hopes and dreams again, Leviathan. The pressure is on.
And you can feel it in every fibre of their being.
Every mistake that's made, every moment of this when the Haunted spots it out. TP's gonna get killed, 4 players remaining, now the swing comes through, trying to play a cryo, returns the drop down, it's mistimed, player's still alive, rolling thunder, it catches onto 2, and Shy's been set up for it, he's good for it again. All the way for OT, they will bring it there!
After winning a World Championship, G2 CEO Carlos was spotted celebrating his win with Andrew Tate. Now, who leaked this video? Well, it was Carlos himself, and what's even funnier is that, at least to my knowledge, G2 hadn't even won a World Championship in any game in said time period, so he was literally just flexing that he was partying with Tates. After getting a bunch of backlash, Carlos doubled down by saying, "Nobody will ever police my friendships. I draw my line here. I party with whoever the fuck I want." And in response to this, G2 released a statement with all the usual stuff. "We're sorry, we'll change, yada yada yada." But what's interesting is that Carlos agreed to take 8 weeks of leave as CEO and kinda apologized. So in the span of 2 days he went from "I draw my line here" to "I failed to read the room." Now you might be thinking, why would I care about any of this? Well, because all this controversy happened right before franchising. And you know who didn't get a spot? G2. But this wasn't a huge loss just for G2 and Carlos, because the plan for G2 was to release their entire European roster in exchange for purchasing another team's roster in NA, in order to get into VCT Americas, because 50% of your roster has to be from the region that you are competing in. This was later confirmed by Scott Robertson, who wrote, "According to numerous reports and sources, Riot was leaning towards making G2 a partner in the Americas League, but the controversy caused by Carlos' appearance with Tate caused Riot to reverse his decision, and the G2 organization had expressed strong interest in acquiring the roster and coaching staff of Exit, and things seemed good to go regarding the deal if G2 got into the Americas League." The entire story can pretty much be summarized by former Exit's players Zeken's tweet, "Having to explain to my mom how Andrew Tate cost me a job is not where I thought I would be a month ago." Also, about a week after all this happened, Carlos resigned his position as CEO of G2. When you think about teams revealing their rosters, the first thing that usually comes to mind is like a high production over-the-top hype reel. Well, Optic chose a different route by announcing their Valorant team with a PNG and some background music. The community wasn't shy about calling Optic out for one of the most pathetic team announcements ever done.
Oh my god, world record! Oh.
After losing their opening game versus Exertia 2-0 at Masters Reykjavik, Optic's coach Chet had this to say in the post-game interview.
I mean, I don't think they did anything that surprising. Maybe the send comp was a little bit different than what we're normally expecting from them. So I think it's easier for any region to just come up with some like cringy comp and just execute it well, compared to other games where, like in CSGO, you could hard carry if you're like a good team.
People were quick to criticize Chet's comments by saying, imagine being a coach with a number 2 NA seed and say that a team that won against you can just be them playing Cringe Comps. Bro, everyone in Zersha was fragging hard and had great coordination. Plus, you're the coach, you're supposed to be the one who knows what these comps can and cannot do. We are not as good as we think we are. We cracked under pressure, and we don't have much to counter-react the set plays and util usage that Zersha use. We will prove that we can improve in our next match against Crew, and hopefully win the Masters. There, I fix it for you, chat. And the disrespect towards Apex is just unreal. Also, it isn't a cringy comp, it was an old comp Optic weren't prepared for. Sentinels and Furia were involved in a controversial tech pause in a crucial Game 3 that a lot of Brazilian fans blamed for killing the momentum of Furia and costing them the game, when Sentinel players took to Twitter and explained that Riot made them pause the game, and even joked about the situation. Brazilian fans were outraged and started coming after Shazam, Dance and the rest of the squad. And that's where Zombs stepped in, by saying, "I can't wait to beat your shitty region again," in response to an angry Brazilian caster. This took the Brazilian outrage to another level, leading to death threats against Zombs and the Sentinels. But Zombs just doubled down, saying Brazil needs to do less typing and more playing. Zombs also fired off a tweet of the all-time earning list in Valorant, showing no Brazilian players anywhere near the top, which led to angry Brazilian fans and even the co-CEO of Furia, demanding Riot punish Zombs and the Sentinels. In professional Valorant, each team is allowed 2 60-second tactical timeouts per map. However, in the first map between Navi and DRX at Champions 2023, Navi got penalized by only allowing them to call 1 timeout. And all of this happened because Angel was seen using Snus on the official Riot livestream. Navi lost the map in the second overtime, eventually losing the game 2-1. There were a lot of conflicting opinions about the punishment, but the overall consensus was that Angel himself should have been fined, rather than the whole team getting penalized. In the final round of the grand final between Fnatic and Sentinels at Masters Reykjavik, Mistic made an unfortunate mistake by flashing his teammate. This mistake led to Fnatic losing the round, the game, and the tournament.
Find his teammate. No fucking way!
No, dude.
EU! Oh my god!
EU!
Also, Shroud screaming EU Flash didn't help at the time already struggling EU Valorant fans. Years later, Mistic revealed on a podcast the consequences that he suffered due to this one silly mistake.
And I think there's like footage of me like tearing up a little bit after that game, just like head on hands. I was devastated, I was so upset. And then it sunk in a little bit more. I remember the next day after that game, I just wanted to stay in my room the whole day. Like, I didn't really want to show my face to anyone. Whilst they were out having fun in Iceland, I was just like, yeah. I was very disappointed in myself, and it had a pretty big effect on my mental at the time, because I was like, you know, battling with my own thoughts, like, oh, you're so bad, but then like another side of me is just like, you made it to a grand final kind of thing. And it's like, it's something hard to deal with in the moment, but like, as you said, like over time, I've managed to, you know, look back on it and like look at it in a joking way, and you know, just live with it. It's fun and games at the end of the day.
NRG player Ardiis said that one of the players from TBK Esports, a prominent Brazilian team, was seen with Loud players after NRG practice against them. Ardiis implied that TBK could have sent strategies to Loud prior to their head-to-head at VCT lock-in.
We pranked these guys 3 times the couple of days before. And then I see, or the day before, or 2 days before, and then I see this guy. What's his name? Riot? Which one is it? Riot. Then I see this guy chilling with Loud after we've just pranked him. I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way that he has not shown the bond to that team. I was in disbelief, bro. I'm not saying that they anti-set. Listen, I'm not saying that they did it. Because actually, I'll get into it more. But we saw that, and I was like, there's no way, bro. I was like, there's no way that's happened, right?
Brazilian player Rats, whom Ardiis implied may have leaked practice VODs to Loud, lashed out at the player and rejected the implication. "I would never do such a thing," the player said. Ardiis also received a lot of hate from the Brazilian fans, with NRG's coach Tate even joking that Zombs was no longer Brazil's public enemy #1.
So like they scrimmed a Brazilian team, and they he said like someone from that Brazilian team might have told the other Brazilian team what they did or some shit.
Probably. So,
yeah, and then they went crazy on Twitter.
That's almost allowed to just like take a little heat off of him, like not the public enemy anymore.
Nah, I never was. Everyone loves me.
Well,
I'm literally a hometown hero of Sao Paulo.
Where? Of Sao Paulo.